Oh, no, you do great. Yeah, no, it's good. Yeah. You're good.
Call this October 7th, 2021 Avon Town Council meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Julie, would you mind taking a roll call, please?
Steve Eisenbarth,
Present.
Robert Pope,
Present.
Aaron Tevabaugh, Don Loudon, Greg Zuzan,
Present.
Thank you. I understand we have some police officer awards. John, are you taking care of that?
Thank you, and thank you everybody for coming here this evening to share in a pretty special occasion. Every now and then we have the opportunity to take a moment to recognize some of our officers for some very special acts of courage and heroism in the line of duty. And we'd like to recognize a few of those here tonight with some awards that were nominated to the American Police Hall of Fame and voted on and approved by the American Police Hall of Fame. So we'll start off with a couple here that I have to hand out, and then I'll hand it over to Sergeant Owens for a few of his people on his shift that he'd like to hand out awards to as well. If I can have Officer Roach come up, please. We have a general commendation medal and citation for Officer Roach. Last year, Officer Roach was instrumental in recovering and saving a female and her child from a violent domestic. He responded to the scene. The offender locked the child as well as the female in the room, in one of the bedrooms with him. They were able to not only secure the scene, but they were able to secure a robot to check the area for safety. Once that was secured, then they were able to make immediate entry and detain the subject. And upon his detention, they were able to recover a handgun with nearly 200 rounds of ammunition ready to go that they were able to avoid having any kind of interaction with. So we'd like to recognize him with that tonight and thank him for his efforts and his heroism and courage in the line of duty. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next one is Sergeant Steve Barton. I've been trying to give this award to Sergeant Barton now for a year. He keeps avoiding me. It's kind of a joke, but it's not really, because Sergeant Barton's probably one of the most humble members of our department, and really probably he's told me he doesn't really feel like he deserves this, but he really does. He responded to a gunshot wound victim I think it was last year, and upon arrival there was a gunshot wound to the abdomen of the victim. Due to his efforts and quick thinking, they were able to stop the bleeding and use the TAC med kit supplies that not only our agency supplies to all of our officers, but Sergeant Barton is also an instructor on how to use that. So his quick thinking and quick actions probably helped save that individual's life, and it's a reflection on Sergeant Barton's dedication and commitment to not only our department, but our community, and we thank him for that. Now I'm going to turn it over to Sergeant Owens. He has a few more to hand out, and we'll move on from there.
If I can get Hollingsworth and Ellsbury up here. This incident we're going to talk about occurred on July 26th. Before we get into it, I want to tell you a little about these guys. Officer Ellsbury actually started with us as an intern in, what year was that? a while ago. And then he got hired on at Franklin PD as a full-time officer, and then we were able to steal him back. Officer Hollingsworth was hired in 2016. He was a dispatcher for Lawrence. Prior to that, he's also a certified LEA instructor and a canine handler who currently has a canine lance. So the incident they were involved with occurred at the McDonald's East there in front of Meyer. They got a call that 2 people were shot inside of a truck. They responded not knowing exactly what was going on. When they got there, they were able to determine that it was an accidental shooting. Officer Hollingsworth secured the weapons to make the scene safe for everybody, and they both applied tourniquets to 2 of the victims. One had an injury to the arm and one to the leg, so their actions applying the tourniquets and securing the scene definitely contributed to saving the lives of these individuals. After that, medics responded to the scene, took over, and they completed the investigation. So they are both receiving life-saving awards for their actions on that incident.
Sergeant.
I believe you can go over there. Elkin and Elder. Officer Elder here was hired in 2017. He's currently a field training officer, a drug recognition expert, a standardized field sobriety test instructor, and he's received at least 1 MAT award for his arrest and drunk driving. Officer Elkin was hired in 2019. He's currently a field training officer. He's a robot operator, and he's also a current member of the National Guard and has been for the last approximately decade. Correct. The incident they were involved in occurred on March 10th. Officer Elder was training one of our new officers, Officer Roach. They stopped a vehicle in the area of Dan Jones 100 South for a possible drunk driving investigation, and Elder and Roach were out dealing with the driver, trying to determine if he was intoxicated or not. Officer Elkin arrived as a backup officer to keep an eye on the passenger. While he was doing that, the passenger became very belligerent and started yelling at the officers. He tried to calm him down to keep him in the car. As the run continued, the passenger continued to get belligerent and yelling, so Officer Elkin decided to go up and remove him from the vehicle. As he did that, he went to open the door, and when he did, the passenger pulled a gun on him. Because he was already in the process of removing him, Officer Elkin made the decision to just remove him from the vehicle and disarm him at the same time, so he was able to get him out of the car and on the ground. When he did that, he lost his grip on the gun, and the gun fell, and the magazine fell out of the gun, which was loaded. Officer Elder came over and assisted in getting the suspect into handcuffs, who was continuing to fight. So they eventually got him secured. They finished dealing with the driver, who ended up not being intoxicated. He was giving that guy a ride who was extremely intoxicated, and continued the arrest just for the passenger. So they're both getting awards, Officer Elder for the arrest and Officer Elkin as well. It just exemplifies a lot of the runs we're seeing a lot more now with more people coming out here. I believe this is the second time you've had a gun pulled on you, correct? So this could have been 1 second, one way or the other, from either the suspect getting shot or him getting shot at, or being a lot worse than it was. So the action of these officers definitely saved at least 1 life, if not multiple.
Let me just say, we see these stories on the news a lot here lately, and they're scary, and they hit home, and they make you feel uncomfortable. But until you have the opportunity to sit and watch the dash cam video of your own officer and see that go down and on a recording, it leaves a pretty eerie feeling in your stomach, in your heart, because then it truly does hit home. So we thank all of these officers for being here tonight, everyone here that supported them, and thank all of you for the support for law enforcement and in our community as well. So that will conclude our award presentation for this evening. Thank you.
We'll call the meeting back to order. Next item is the consent agenda. Any discussion?
One item on the consent agenda underneath the minutes for the executive session. I was not present at that meeting, so we need to make that change.
Thanks for that catch, Greg. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve as amended as Mr. Zuzan suggested.
Second.
We have a first and a second. A roll call, please, Julie.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth.
4.
Next item is a first of 2 public comments. If you're a member of the public and would like to speak, please come up to the mic, state your name, and give us your comment. Share with us your comment. Seeing nobody coming forward, I'll close that public comment session. On to council comment liaison reports. Greg?
The only thing I had was this afternoon, we met with the collaboration meeting over at the school. Nothing further.
Steve?
Last Thursday, the Hendricks County Recycling District Tipping Fee Committee met, and we went through a number of items on there. So there will be an increase likely of the tonnage for the tipping fee. It hasn't been changed since 1994. I want to make that point. And so it's definitely overdue on that. The next analysis is going to be on October 26th. And, we're moving along with that. So that's going well. Also, this past Monday, the Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, open house was held here in this room. And a number of things. I know, Robert, you may want to comment on a couple. I noticed the calculation of open space, going through that regarding retention ponds and calculation of that. That was in there. The mason material requirements, and then the plan commission review items and waivers. Those were kind of the 3 takeaways I had of that. And you may have more insights on that. That's all I have.
No, double up on that. Just it was a good opportunity for transparency, and I felt like we had some good feedback, good conversation, valuable insight, and some insightful changes were made. I just wanted to add to everyone at home, we had a recent survey. I just wanted to thank you for those survey results. You'll be seeing it. We'll be discussing those in an upcoming joint work session we'll be having with the township. Moving on, forgive me. We have had a request from the developer for the Rise Commercial District zoning amendment change. They've requested us to table that until the next meeting. We do need to take a vote on that, and I believe we need a motion. Is that correct, Dan? So
I'll make a motion regarding ordinance 2021-26, ZA 2106. I don't know if you need all that, but Rise Commercial District, that it be tabled as requested.
Second.
we've got a first and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please, Julie.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Robert Pope.
4. Thank you, guys. Moving on to new business, appointing the Recreation Impact Fee Committee. Ryan, you got this one?
Yes, sir. The town council approved Layman and Layman to do our update. The statute for the recreation impact fee actually requires that every 5 years we have to do an update. And so we are in that process of doing it. This is our 3rd time we will have updated the rec impact fee. The statute actually requires the creation of a recreation impact fee advisory committee. And so of that committee, 40% has to be from the development community, and the development community is defined as builders, realtors, or developers. The suggestion, since this is an update, the process goes relatively quickly. It's really just an update of the existing information with new inventory information. So as much consistency as we can have as possible to people who've already been in the committee, so that we don't kind of have to go back and kind of re-explain this to them, the better off we kind of are. So staff did make some recommendations of people. If the council has other recommendations, you're welcome to include other people. On the builder developer side, we recommended John Lazaro. John has participated in both of those previously. Rebecca Harp also was in there and agreed to serve again. She actually served last time. Dan Laser was actually recommended as well. He is a real estate agent. And then we kind of normally fill the group with other people who are involved in the town. So in the past, we used the town council liaison to the Parks Department, which in this case would be Robert. I did reach out twice to the Parks Council. I got nobody who was willing to volunteer. So either you guys are welcome to appoint one without them volunteering, but I guess my recommendation would be, actually, last time I served on the committee, and so I wasn't going to do it because I wanted a Parks Council person. But since we didn't get someone, you're welcome to appoint me to that position if you'd like. Again, that's not a statutory position. The recreation impact fee goes through 3 people for approval. It goes to the Parks Council, it goes to the Plan Commission, it goes to the Town Council. So we really do that to ease with it getting through the process. So not including a Parks Council member doesn't impact us following the statute or anything like that.
You're going to be on it anyhow, right, as a staff?
Well, I would be on it as a staff person anyway. So now you would make me a voting person instead of just a staff person. That would just be the
Do we have a
difference.
plan commission person on there?
You do. And then the Plan Commission person we recommended was Grant Niemeyer, and Grant
Okay.
was on there last time
Great.
as well. So Grant's got experience, and Grant agreed to serve again as well.
But do you want to be on there as a voting member or non-voting?
Yes, because you have to have 5 people. So you could appoint someone else. I guess I would not recommend that you appoint 60% from the development community. So I wouldn't use Dan Laser and Rebecca Harp. So, but it is your guys' discretion in who you want to appoint. And again, the staff and consultant members are just people who are there to help give input and feedback in the process.
Well, if you're willing to, then I would suggest that we put you on as a voting member and then just take off the representative from the Parks Council, seeing nobody wants to do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
I like the idea that next time we do this, continue to push for this. And if we can get a volunteer from them, I believe we should be able to make that change, but I don't want this to be forgotten next time.
Agreed. Yep.
Dan, do we need to make this in a whole motion to create this, make all 5 appointments at once? How can we do that?
Yeah, the committee already exists, so you just need to make an appointment. You can just say 5 names. I move we appoint these 5 people, and that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. Any further discussion, gentlemen?
No.
Hear a motion?
I make a motion that we approve John Lazaro, Rebecca Harp, Robert Pope, Ryan Cannon, and Grant Niemeyer as committee members for the Recreation Impact Fee Advisory Committee.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Julie, can you take roll call, please?
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope.
4. Moving on, the 2022 budget approval, final step, final adoption.
Yeah, so this is the final step. We've done our public hearing and we've talked about, all the staff has presented. So this is the very end. And again, it's a little unusual. I've provided lots of information there for the council, but ultimately what the council approves and signs is the actual Form 4, which is the total overall budget. We did balance the budget. I know we had a lot of discussion at the previous meeting about some salary changes. So the budget that's reflected that I've presented to you does show a 3% increase for the 3 police chiefs and myself. And so we were able to do that. We reduced the health insurance line to basically balance it out and to get to the $6.12 million budget in the general fund. And so everything is balanced exactly, I think, the way the council said. So unless you have any other changes you want to make, it's ready for adoption.
I can see Julie giddy over there, looking excited.
She's ready to start her work,
Yes, I am.
which is needed.
My only comment or question is, we had spoken about some, I'll call it catch-up increases from past years. And I think between yourself, chief of police, and the deputy chiefs, they did not feel comfortable in that, so that has not been included in here. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, it was just 3% for those employees instead of the 6%, which the council had previously discussed.
And I respect that. So if that's what they want, then that's what they got.
Yep, that's my understanding too. So congratulations on just moving this through. I mean, we've talked about this before, that past years that we've had $300K that we were in the hole and we had to work with it for several years. So thank you. I really appreciate the hard work.
Any further discussion? Hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we adopt the budget as presented.
Second.
Got a first and second. Anything further? Nope. Julie, roll call, please.
Robert Pope,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Next item, the resolution 2021-21, approving the Plan Commission order for Avon Logistics allocation area. Ryan, is this you?
Yes, I'll cover this. So I know this is a little bit unusual, but it is, we're just kind of cleaning up an issue with our TIF district. And so, we talk a lot about economic development areas. So you have a map in your packets that shows the entire Avon economic development area. And there's kind of 3 major areas on your map. One's in green, one's in yellow, and one's in kind of a pink or a salmon color. And as you all know, we are working on a developer purchase bond with Chicago Industrial for the Avon Logistics Park, which is on the north side of 100 South. And part of that developer bond is we only want to capture the revenue in that specific area because we're pledging it to pay back that developer purchase bond. And so if you notice, that salmon area is actually larger than the Avon Logistics Park. So we're not doing an expansion to the TIF district. We're just capturing the money specifically in that area where Avon Logistics is developing, again, to use that revenue to pay back the bond. So we're just kind of creating another area within that area. And it's more of the way that we make sure that we're not taking revenue from other areas to help pay back Avon Logistics. So the process actually requires the redevelopment commission has to do a declaratory resolution. And then the plan commission actually has to review it and say, this area is consistent with what we believe should be developed and how it should be developed, which of course the plan commission has approved the development plans for Avon Logistics. And so the town council is now basically agreeing with it as well. So if the town council approves the plan commission order, the next step is it'll go back to the redevelopment commission and they'll do a confirmatory resolution actually creating that specific allocation area. So I'm happy to answer any questions if the council has any.
My question is, the north boundary, is that the CSX rail yard?
That's correct. So really the area that we're taking out is all of the CSX property. And, some of that is for sale. So if it was to develop and someone was to want financial assistance for that, it works both ways. We don't necessarily want the Avon Logistics money to go to pay for those improvements. So we're kind of keeping all the money in the right pots, basically.
So to make it, so we all understand, it goes from Raceway Road from the east, which is north of Sunchase, then down to the, say, western boundary of Sunchase, down to 100 South, all the way over to, is it the Burnett Woods then?
That's correct. Yeah, that's
To the
Burnett
north
Woods.
end of that, and all the way back out to Dan Jones.
That's correct. Yep.
No further questions.
I'll take a motion, gentlemen.
Make a motion, we approve resolution 2021-21, approving the plan commission order of Avon Logistics allocation area as presented.
I'll second that.
We have a first and second. Any further discussion? Julie, roll call, please.
Steve Eisenbarth,
4.
Greg Zuzen,
4.
Robert Pope,
4. That is it. Legal counsel report. Dan.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Open up the public comment, second public comment session. If you have anything to say, please step forward and state your name and address. That was the other thing I forgot. See nobody come forward, close that public comment. Last chance, council comment.
I'll throw in about the storm board. The Stormwater Board, when we met, we did go through, actually, it was just through email, and we approved invoices. Something I think it's good to mention here is that a number of our developments are getting attention. Yes, we did approve the consulting for GRW, but we also had vendors for drainage repairs at Orozco Point, Glenfield, and County Road 200 South, a sinkhole over in Stratford of Avon, storm drain and swale repairs at Eden Gate. And so, there's a lot of work that's getting done with the stormwater fees. And that's one thing I want to bring out. People were always skeptical at the beginning, saying, well, we pay the county, now we're going to be paying the town. Well, I can tell you with the town, you're getting some results. So I'm kind of proud of that group, and I'm very thankful to be a part of that. So that's all I want to mention.
Greg, anything? I would just like to add for everyone at home, we have a number of boards and commissions positions still open. Please, if you have any concern of helping in your community, this is a great opportunity to help us make some good changes here. Council calendar, Ryan.
Yeah, I don't have much for you. You do have, your next meeting is on October 21st at 7 PM, and you will have a work session prior to that at 5:30 PM. That's it.
Meeting adjourned.